Kitty straightened her shoulders, lifting her chin as she noticed her mother's glare of disapproval from the corner of her eye. She inhaled slowly through her mouth, telling herself not to be so ridiculous. Lord James was just a man. No need to be this frightened of what the future would hold. Footsteps sounded from inside the manor house, slowly getting closer, in perfect tempo with her pounding heart. She turned her head toward the door as her mother and father rose to their feet. Quickly, she followed suit. The Duke stepped into the bright sunlight, and Kitty had to remind herself quite sternly not to drop her mouth open or stare too hard. Goodness! He was nothing like she'd expected. His chiseled jawline was much stronger and more masculine than the one she'd constructed in her imagination. With his dark brown hair, he was certainly a very handsome man. His posture and his broad shoulders spoke of a man filled with pride. Something flared in Kitty's belly as she stared into his intense green eyes. No, indeed. Lord James of Somerset was not what she'd imagined at all. She felt quite breathless until his gaze slid away from her to land upon her parents. "Your Grace!" Her mother and father were in unison as they greeted the Duke politely. "Lord and Lady Dunn," their host answered in return. "Welcome to Woodlock Manor. I do apologize for our brief encounter last evening. I had matters that required my urgent attention." "There is no need for you to explain, nor apologize, Your Grace," her mother said quickly. Kitty watched as her father and the Duke shook hands. As he walked to his seat, there was another flutter in her stomach. Something unfamiliar stirred deep inside her as his gaze met hers again, but much to her dismay, his jaw clenched. Kitty was certain she noticed a flicker of disappointment in his eyes. Her heart sank. Would he reject her before they had even spoken? "Your Grace, may I introduce my daughter, Lady Kitty Dunn," her father announced proudly. Kitty forced a smile to her face and leaned on the manners she'd been taught since the cradle. "It is a pleasure to make your acquaintance, Your Grace." She bobbed a little curtsy, wondering if that was too much. No one seemed to mind, so she added, "My parents have told me much about you." "Indeed, my lady," the Duke answered noncommittally as he stood at the head of the table, waiting for them to be seated. Kitty sat, along with her parents, unease rippling over her skin. He wasn't very forthcoming with any sentiment whatsoever. "Your estate is magnificent, Your Grace," Lady Dunn said with a warm smile. "I've not seen anything quite like it before." The Duke glanced at Lady Dunn for a moment and nodded. "This place has been in my family for generations, and I am determined to ensure it will continue to be the gem of Somerset, as it is often referred to." "One can certainly see why. The gardens are beautiful." Lady Dunn sighed dreamily. "The gardens were my father's pride and joy, God rest his soul." Lord and Lady Dunn nodded quietly, and a line of servants stepped out onto the terrace carrying trays of food for them all. Kitty felt the need to speak and assert something of herself into the moment, but she could not think of anything useful to say. She wished to know more about the enigmatic Duke, but a sudden shyness swallowed her words.